quiz activity inside Moodle allows you to add quizzes that the students can take and be graded right inside Moodle. So let me show you how this works. It's actually pretty simple to set up. So I'm going to click Quiz, and then I have to give the quiz a name. I'll call this Pennsylvania Quiz. The introduction, you don't have to write one, but you can. And then you have some options down here as far as timing goes. You can have the quiz open and close on specific dates if you want to. You just have to uncheck these disable buttons and set the dates right here. So the quiz will automatically open for students and automatically close for students on those given dates. You can set a time limit for the quiz for the students, set for 20 minutes. And then you can also set time delays between attempts if you allow the students to take the quiz more than once. So the time delay between the first and second attempt, you can set that for an hour. Time delay between the second attempt and any more attempts, say 2 hours. What this does is it keeps students from taking the quiz over and over and over and over again just to see if they can get the right answers, and actually makes them wait, so hopefully they'll go back and study some. Display. Questions per page. Unlimited means they see all the questions all at once, or you can set it to a certain number of questions per page. I'll just leave it on unlimited. Shuffle questions, yes. So everybody gets the same questions, they just get the questions in a different order. And then shuffle within questions, everybody gets the same answers, they just get them in a different order. So if you have questions, and what I recommend is just leave that set to yes, because you can actually change this option within the questions when you write them. So if you have specific questions that are, A, B, and then maybe A and B, or B and C, something like that, you can change that option within the questions themselves. Attempts. How many times can the student take the test? By default, Moodle allows them to take the quiz as many times as they want. I'm just going to let them take it once. Each attempt builds on the last, so what this does, basically, let me bring up the help window to give you a better explanation of this. Each new attempt contains the results of the previous attempt. This quiz will, okay, so what happens here is if the student takes the quiz and then retakes it, it shows them the results from their previous quiz, and then they can just re-answer any questions that they believe they may have gotten right or wrong. So I usually set this to no. And then adaptive mode, if you're going to use adaptive mode, you have to write multiple questions and use categories for your questions as far as difficulty level goes. So I'm going to leave this set to no as well. If you want to explore that, just read the help window right here. It's actually pretty helpful with setting that up. And then grading method. You have highest grade, average grade, first attempt, last attempt. This is really only useful if you're allowing multiple attempts on the quiz, which I'm only allowing one, so I'm just going to leave this set to highest grade. Apply penalties. Again, this only applies if you're allowing the student to take the test more than once. So what you can do is you can set up penalty factors in each question. And what that does is if a student retakes the quiz, it shaves a portion of the points off any question that they re-answer, so that they can't get full credit for that question. And then decimal in grades, you can have 0, 1, 2, or 3 decimal places. Now down here under review options, this shows 3 categories: immediately after the attempt, when the quiz is still open, and after the quiz is closed. So this is what the student sees in these 3 time periods. What I recommend here is that you let them see the responses and the scores, so that way they can see what questions they answered and their score. If you don't have score checked, then their score doesn't even show up in the grade book. Later, while the quiz is still open, I kind of recommend that you do the same thing, and then after the quiz is closed, then they can see everything. That way, what happens here is, in these 2 instances, there are still people taking the quiz. So if you have answers checked here, then the students can go in and get the answer key to the quiz. So I usually recommend that you leave those unchecked until the very end. Browser security. If you have this set to full screen, what it does is it opens a full screen window on the student's computer and basically hides everything else on their computer, so they can't really open anything else up on their computer. It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. You can also apply a password to the quiz if you want to. And you can click unmask to make sure that you typed it correctly. And then require network addresses. I would say leave this alone unless you really know what you're doing. Here, what you can do is you can require the students to take the quiz from a certain computer. So if you want the students to take it in a lab, you can get from your IT people what's called an IP range and put it into this field. But again, I would probably just not mess with that. Overall feedback. You can provide feedback to the students based on their overall score. And then you can break those grade boundaries down as much as you want. Now, you have to put the percent symbol here with the numbers or it doesn't work. So you can go 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, as much as you want. You can break it down to every single percentage point if you want. So after you set up all your options, click Save and Return to Course. And that takes you back to this screen. And now you have to go and write the questions for your test. So I'll click into Pennsylvania Quiz. And that brings me to this screen where I can actually write the questions. Okay, so down here you'll see Create New Question, Choose, and I'll show you a couple of these real quick. And let's just start with the easy one, which is multiple choice. So I click on multiple choice, and my question name is PA capital, and then the question text you put right here. Okay. The default question grade will make that worth 1 point. Here's that penalty factor I told you about before. So if you have multiple attempts, you can take that off. Show one or multiple answers. So you can take a multiple choice question and make it into a multiple answer question where you can have more than one right answer. But for this one, there's obviously only one right answer. Now here's where I said you can adjust the shuffling of answers right here. You can uncheck that button if your answers need to be in a specific order. So here, since my answers are shuffled, I can just always put the correct answer first, and the correct answer is always signified by giving 100% grade. And then I can just put the incorrect answers in any order, leave the grade set to none, and that means that they get no credit for answering that question that way. And Philadelphia. Scroll down, click Save Changes. Now this question has been created, but it's still not in my quiz. You can see right here, questions in my quiz right here. If I click this button right here, it adds that question to the quiz, and now you can see it's over here. The question is PA capital. The question type is multiple choice. It's worth 1 point. So let me go ahead and add one or two more questions. Here's a true-false question. Keystone State. Pennsylvania is known as the Keystone State. Okay, there's my question grade, and you can see the penalty factor for a true-false question is always 1, because if it's not true, it's false. So, having that set up like that, it kind of makes sense. So this is actually true. I'll come down here and click Save Changes. Bring this over to my quiz. Now here's my second question. You can see it has this option for true-false. Show you one more. Let's do what a matching question. Call this city match. Match the cities in Pennsylvania with their geographic location. Now here, I'm going to come down to the bottom and I'm going to do question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. So my question will be, for instance, Pittsburgh. And that will be southwestern PA. Erie, northwestern PA. Allentown, northeastern PA. And I can add 3 more blanks if I need to. Harrisburg, central PA. York, south central PA. Philadelphia, southeastern PA. And you get the idea. I'll click Save Changes. If I want to preview a question, like say I want to preview my matching question, I can click the little hourglass or the little magnifying glass right here, and it'll show me what this question looks like. Actually, it's showing me the whole quiz right now. In fact, what happened is I clicked on the wrong question. Let me close that, click on the magnifying glass here. Okay, so here is what my question looks like. So here I'm going to select Harrisburg, and then I have to select the location, geographic location of where that city is located. I can click Fill with Correct, and it shows me what the correct answers are right there. Now this only shows up in the preview and only for you. The students don't get a Fill with Correct button. So let me move over my city match question. Okay, if I want to preview the whole quiz, I can by clicking the preview button. That'll give me a preview of the whole quiz. Remember, I set up a password for this. And here's what my quiz looks like when I look at it in the view that my students see. Okay, here's what that's what the students see at the end. They see their score. Okay. And as a teacher, I can come in here and click on results, and as the students take it, I can actually go in here and look at the results of their quizzes. Now, if I go back out to my course and look at the link for the quiz down here, okay, here's what it looks like. If I click Preview the quiz now, I'll be able to go in and take the quiz. Okay, so that's how you use the quizzing tool in Moodle.